This is your world, your job, your crew, your Cat compact equipment. And this is the support from your local Cat dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need, on time, easier than ever. This is what you get from your local Cat dealer.
That was just when you...
We're back to you here.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Back to you. It looks like we have the 7188 of Peterson, Preston Peterson. It's an 03 Ranger.
I think we can go, you guys, whenever you're ready.
Two-wheel drive, long travel setup with bypass shocks. He's in our comp mod. His sponsors, he's out of Green River, Wyoming, are PMS Screen Printing, Lisa Lynn Hart, Centered Healing. So they're all the way up out of Green River, Wyoming. They raced with us last month at the TDK Big Sky 100.
200.
Big Sky 200. I got Aaron back here helping. So he's coming around the corners there.
Was that a truck that wiped out?
Aaron's been on the timing. I'm pretty sure Zach is done. It looks like he broke an axle, front axle on that wreck we just had right in front of timing. He was almost there, but I think on the landing he broke the axle, so he his time read, but I'm pretty sure they ain't getting that fixed by tomorrow. You never know. These guys will stay up and pull all-nighters just to get stuff running again. So we got Preston Peterson there again on the screen. He'll be coming into the Jim and Tracy's corners.
Yeah, I don't know.
Through there.
So
As soon as he's done there, it's down through the mud corner and over the jumps. So we've been averaging about 3 minutes a lap for qualifying. So once again, a big thank you to Montana Drone Company for doing all this, and a big thank you to Tractor and Equipment for sponsoring the live feed. So this is their area. You need anything down here in the Wyoming, Cody area, Montana, or North Dakota, just get a hold of Tractor and Equipment. They should be able to take care of all your needs on equipment rental to purchasing. So great sponsor of ours. This is 3 years now they've been sponsoring all the live feeds. So big thank you to them. That's that big water hole. It's slowing everybody down. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Last year during the race, we probably handful of guys we rolled over there. So He's coming over the asking jumps now. And through the Can-Am finish
323.
with a 323. That puts him, what did Charlie run?
Charlie ran 309.
So that puts him behind Charlie, so sitting in second.
Charlie, and I gave it to Christian Mo, and he's filling the final value line.
We're coming up on the pro class next. This is the, I believe it's the 804 car of Matt.
Okay, yeah, he was pro before.
Oh, 808 car.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
I do not, oh, the 808 car of Matt. It's an 85 Toyota. He's out of Oregon, Canyon City. Lollipop Logistics and Doug Motor Vehicle Repair are his sponsors. That is an older pro light truck. I think he used to race short course, so I got a lesson on it at our last race from Liam from USAC, but he knew of those cars and what they were built for. It's more of a short course car. So last month when he raced the Big Sky 200, he had a pretty rough ride out there with that car. This track will be way better for him. It's got a little 4-cylinder in it, if I recall. Like I said, it's an 85 Toyota. And he's moving pretty good. He actually falls in our pro class. So pro is pretty much anything goes. So we got pro and pro unlimited. He is just a pro because there's stock frame with that. So that is what denotes the difference. Is in the pro you have stock frame. Pro unlimited, it'd be a full-fledged geyser truck, custom built car. Or the 44s or the 48s are all running in that together.
we are right out here. If you need us to do something, yell at us. We'll do it.
It's coming through the Jim and Tracy's corners. He's made it through the muddy corner. I think I'm going to call that the ITP corner from now on. He's coming into the Askin jumps here. I think he's making a pretty decent time, at least it feels like it from where I'm sitting.
316.
He had a 316 as he came through the elevated power sports finish. Next up, we're going to have a 1600. It's the 1620 car of Janae. It's a full body bug. She's out of Billings, Montana. Some of her sponsors are Barkman Custom Transport and Grandpa Dean. So Janae, is this her first season racing? At the last race in at the Big Sky 200. She ended up third, so not too bad of a podium finish on their last race. Like I said, this is her first season racing in that car. She's got her grandpa racing with her. So as soon as she's done, we'll have to do a short, quick break while we swap batteries on our drone for our live footage. But she's coming around the back corner there. Like I said, it's amazing how quick this dried out. With as much rain as we got last night, it did nothing but rain all night. So, good job. I got Sheridan sitting next to me right here. She hasn't qualified yet. She's heading out here shortly. She just showed up, so she hasn't even got a chance to pre-run. How are you feeling about your qualifying here?
A little nervous, but I'm watching it on the drone, so hopefully I have it down.
I put a transponder on your car.
So, Sheridan, what did you get? You did second at the Big Sky 200. How did that go for you?
It was good. It was rough. My steering broke, so it was very interesting last lap.
Still finishing when you got second place.
Yep. Second place.
Nice job on the finish there.
Thanks.
And just so you guys know, that's a 40-mile track, and that's 80 miles that even the 4400s and stuff were saying rough. So these girls and these guys in these 1600s, it's brutal for them out there. It is a rough track, and this one isn't much smoother. Shorter. Got it. We had to switch Jones there, so we're gonna miss part of hers. We'll see her finish though. Coming through, we'll see her coming over the Askin jumps after the Jim and Tracy corners. So we'll see her hit that first jump. So this will be a good view. She's at the big corner, the mud corner right now. Most people are kind of going around it, staying out of it. They don't want to waterlog their engines.
Hey, Sharon. Can you do me a favor?
I can hear her coming. He said we had to land the drone to get battery, so as soon as we get that battery back going, we should be good to put the drone back up in the air. I think he's got her again. Yep, she's coming through the mud corner. We got the drone back up. She played that smart and missed the mud. Kind of went wide there, but lined you up good for these jumps. She's coming over that Askin jumps now. She's coming through the elevated power sport start finish.
4:15.
She ran a 4:15. That's a good time for 1600. So next up, it looks like we got Keaton Potter with Ray Smith in a 299 car. It's a 96 Cherokee out of Lewis, Montana. Potter Autobody, TDK, AFW Motorsports. PJG Motorsports, Yellowstone Edge RV Park, and Switchback Designs. So Keaton's fast. He won the Broadview race, so he's out here to keep his position. So right now he's sitting first in the points, so he's going to do all he can to keep that spot. You know, qualifying's a hard choice. You got to race tomorrow, so you got to play that game of how hard you run it run out hard enough to where you get a better start and some good air? Or do you just start in the back and work your way through and save your car? So it's a hard choice they have to make here, but everybody wants to start up front. As you can see with excuse me, Zach, he broke, so they'll probably cram all night to get him going. So Keaton, you should be coming through the swamp section here in just a second. Is Race or Rowdy riding with him?
Race. I think. I never saw Race today though, so I don't know who it is.
So he's coming through the Jim and Tracy's corners right there. Once again, a huge thank you to Roller Construction and Ryan for sponsoring this race. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. So you guys remember, sponsor or support those that support us and your hobbies. So they'll be coming into the ITP corner, Inland Truck Parts corner here coming up. Looks like those dips are getting bigger. We'll see if he how he takes this corner. Should be coming into the Askin jumps here in just a second. Do a camera switch view. There's the Askin jumps. As he came through the elevated power sport start finish
331.
with a 331.
Hey, do you need me to hook up my other laptop for you or record? Okay.
So up next we should have a UTV. It's a 849 of Jeremy Spears. He's in a Can-Am. He's at a Kent, Washington. Simmons Racing, American UTV of Kent, Washington, and Green City Heating are his sponsors. He's in a Can-Am X3. See what kind of time these side-by-sides start throwing down here. You can tell they're way faster through these than the stock guys. So once again, a big thanks to Montana Drone Company for getting this out there for us and having the live footage. Dallas and his team did a great job. So it's like he's making his way through the Jim and Tracy corners. These corners are, they look like they're kind of banked and they're bad, but they are rough. You can see in these that it's eating up all the suspension of these machines. So. See how he makes out in the inland truck parts, the ITP corner. Oh, he just bicycled it. He brought it back down on both wheels, but he did bicycle it in that corner. He's heading for the Askin leaps here, the Askin jumps. So. And blown through the elevated power sports start finish
234.
with a 234. Next up, we have, who is this, Aaron? Jeremy Brown.
Yes.
We got Jeremy Brown up next. He's in a Pro R out of Loveland, Colorado. Stacy Brown is his sponsor. Must be the wife. Tenzer Tire and Thumbs Up Racing. Well, these Pro R's are, we're getting a good set of them, and they are fast. So be interesting to see if they do better on a qualifying than the X3s and how that works. Like I said, tomorrow everybody will be racing together, so it's how you qualify. So you could be lining up next to one of these Pro R's. Coming through the corner there. Going through the swamp section. It isn't very swampy right now, so, which is good. You just want to make sure you stay on the track right there. Coming into the Jim and Tracy's chicane corners. And he's moving. He's coming over the Askin jumps right now. Heading for the Can-Am start finish.
239.
He just ran a 239.
Yeah, where are you at? He's by the horseshoe.
With sitting next. We got Clint Peterson just came out.
Somebody to move down to that far corner where the mud is. He thinks he's racing the roller.
Trent Fab 4400. He's out of Gillette, Wyoming. Dakota Alignment and Repair. F16 Services. West Construction. Fiesta's Performance. It's the 44.99. Corner cuts, that's where he's at.
So you want him to go to where? Like, you want
Down
this
here.
radio?
Hold on.
Like, I don't know what. I can't do what
Okay, Clint's in the 44.99 car. He's making his way through the swamp. He's making his way through the Jim and Tracy's horseshoes, or corners, sorry. He'll be heading straight over to the Inland Truck Parts. Horseshoe. Should call it the Inland Truck Parts Mud Hole. He's making it through the horseshoe. Should be heading into the Ask and Jumps for the Can-Am Elevated Power Sports start finish. He ran a 2:52. Next up, we got in the comp mod, we got Shelby McDonald lining up next. This is Shelby's first year. She's in the 844 car. This is her first year racing. She's in that old school Bronco. She's 20 and her sister's her co-pilot, Allie. They're at a Great Falls area, Montana. It's Inland Truck Parts is their sponsors. ProFab Motorsports, Electric City Brake, and McDonald Farms. This truck's been around for years. Don, who you'd see out there helping us and one of the main volunteers, he used to race this truck with Brent. So now it's been passed down to the daughters, and they've been working on this truck non-stop. Excited to see them out here. We featured this truck in one of the Niddle write-ups after the last race and how well they did. So great job, finish there. Coming through the corner there, tying back into the racetrack. Should be hitting it. It looks like she's doing good through here. In the swamp area here pretty quick.
Where can I park that?
She'll be making her way back through the Jim and Tracy corners there. You can see this is not that smooth. Next year we might have to have Jim and Tracy's bring out and smooth out their corners. She'll be coming into the Inland Truck Parts horseshoe here for just a second. Then down the straightaway and heading for the finish. Here she's coming for the jumps. You don't want to get too overzealous on these jumps. They'll kick you wrong every time. Here she's going for the Can-Am start finish.
3:36.
She ran a 3:36.
Puts her in third.
Puts her in third. We got Caleb Rupp up next in his X3. He's out of Sturgis, South Dakota. It's a 2021 X3 Turbo RR out of Sturgis. Co-driver. His sponsors are his co-driver Jordan Rupp and her OnlyFans, and C4 Fabrication. And he put that down, not me, so. And that's the 6422 of Caleb Rupp. He's making some good time. Caleb ran a great race last month at the Big Sky 200, TDK Big Sky 200. So he's put a lot of work into this car this winter. Watched a lot of his build online on his Instagram and can follow him building this car. So he's put a lot of work and effort into getting it set up. So kind of the fun part for us is watching everybody get their stuff ready and through the winter and see what's coming out. He's heading into the Jim and Tracy's corners now. You can just see how much, it's not that it's much smoother, but it is definitely smoother than those comp and stock trucks. So coming into that Inland Truck Parts horseshoe. Heading for the Askin jumps here pretty quick. Coming into the Askin jumps now. Let's see how he does through here. See what his time is. He's moving. Coming across the elevated power sports start finish.
240.
He ran a 240 flat. Next up is Derek Westrom in a Pro R out of Bozeman, Montana. He's in the 1275 car. Aftermarket Assassin factory UTV Method race wheels and Tensor tires. I got Matt Norby just joined me in here, so running qualifying. He just got here as one of the volunteers, and he's one of the ones that runs this Powell Valley track here. This is their off-road area. How long is this? You guys had this property?
The club bought this land in the, I think it was the late 80s, 88, somewhere around there. Been doing off-road mud racing originally, obstacle course and some Baja stuff, and then kind of started doing this, probably mid-2000s, early 2000s? Started doing
10 years, over 10 years.
Yeah, the club owns 120 acres out here, and this is what it's good for, right here.
Not much else.
No. Bunch of sagebrush and alkali.
And a great racetrack.
Yeah.
So he's coming through the swamp area there. Once again, that's Derek Westrom. He'll be coming into the Jim and Tracy's corners here coming up. And these things are getting washed out bad, whooped out real bad.
That rain last night probably didn't do this track much favors for being soft.
It is soft in some areas, but it dried out way faster than I thought. I mean, it rained all night.
Yeah, this breeze is definitely going to help with that.
And helps control the dust. The racers like the breeze, keeps their dust down.
Forecast for tonight and tomorrow look good though. No more rain, not super hot, slight breeze. Should be just right for racing.
He'll be coming into the inland truck parts horseshoe here, or mud hole, whatever you want to call it. We've never gotten that dried out.
There's been a lot of years we had to turn around before that turn just because it's so swampy down there.
That was an option this year, but I decided to let him blow it out, so.
It's called off-road racing for a reason.
We're coming into the Askin jumps here. Heading for the Can-Am start finish.
Hey, 247.
He ran a 247.
That's a new car for him.
And that's a brand new car for him, so it'll be interesting.
He said, I don't know if it's ready or not. So
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Next up
You pull this.
is the 08 car of John Leach.
Thank you.
It's a 20X3. Got Ryder Leach, his son, with him. Ryder will be racing in the youth class also. They're out of Great Falls, Montana. Sponsor is Dust Pods. They're waiting to get the drone back in the air. It should be starting now. John Leach has been racing with us for a few years now. Hasn't quite podium and finished. He's had some run of bad luck over the last couple of years, but that's just how it goes. It's part of racing. There is about 50 registered racers. A couple more showed up that didn't pre-register, so we'll add to that. But this UTV class is getting huge. He's coming through the corner there, and he'll be heading into what I call the swamp. The cattails give it away.
That spot is wet year-round.
Isn't that where, what's that guy's name?
Luke.
Luke.
Had that
Yeah.
yellow.
1 year that
Remember when he went way out in the swamp?
Every lap he was getting a little higher on that berm, and then
And then he was way out
he was a little too high and come off of it, and there's this big old splash.
but at least he didn't let up. He went ahead and buried her all the way.
No, he did not lift until he was stopped.
He was way out there.
I think if you actually know where to look, you can still see the hole in the cattails where that happened today still.
That's hilarious.
He's going through the Jim and Tracy corners there. Looks like John's having a good run so far. Like I said, this will get broke into 2 groups. So we'll run odds and we'll run evens. So just too many of them to have out there up the track at once. It's a lot funner for the racers and the rest of us if we're doing that. He's coming into the Inland Truck Parts horseshoe now. They've been bicycling it through there. I don't know how many times. We always roll at least 1 or 2 back over.
I remember a few there in that corner close to camp here. There's been a few rollovers.
He's coming into the Askin jumps now. Elevated power port, start finish
245.
with a 245.
Which puts him in 4th right now. But
Puts him in 4th right now
in his class.
in his class. Next up is Ryder Leach and Austin Leach in the 14 car. It's a 2020 Holland Talent. And they're at a Great Falls. And that sounds totally different. You can hear him shifting.
Right, got a gearbox in that. Sounds a little different than most of these side-by-sides out here.
He's at a Great Falls, another Dust Pods sponsor.
Never heard of Dust Pods, but I might have to look into it.
This machine he ran really good last month in there, the Honda. So it's a solid transmission.
Are there many that run a manual transmission? I don't follow side-by-side stuff much.
No, you got the Hondas pretty much and the Yamahas, and we got one Yamaha out here too, and he runs a full clutch setup. I'm pretty sure this Honda's a paddle shifter setup.
Okay.
So it's a manual paddle shifter. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's set up. So, but the Yamaha, Dan will be running. That one's got a full clutch. So
I'm gonna have to go take a look at it after a little bit later and see how that works. Definitely a different sound for one of these side-by-sides.
don't have to worry about a belt issue.
There is that. It seems like anytime I've been out working the course, about most of the attrition on the side-by-side is belts.
Yeah, it's usually the one thing you change. You break in nice, like they say, and then you change it before every race. Oh,
Yeah.
belts have made it a long ways. I ran one belt for all of King of the Hammers and did not have to change a single belt. So
That's pretty impressive. That's
yeah,
a
those
heck of a
G-Force
race.
belts are really good belts. So that was good. That race is tough. It was 9 hours on that belt. So
I enjoyed watching all the coverage you guys got on that. That was some great coverage for that rookie King of the
program.
Hammers. Yeah. I see they're doing it again this year.
Yes, they are. So we're coming through the Jim and Tracy corner right there. It's been funny all day. Erin's been up there doing timing and registration and transponders. She had the TV going the whole time watching the race, the Ultra 4 race out of Visions.
Right.
It was
So-
awesome.
She's been watching it all day on a TV, so
I've been watching it all week.
she'll probably be watching it tomorrow while we're in here.
Have some dual
Well,
screen
they're
action.
done, so whatever the rest of the stuff, Ultra 4's done, right?
Ultra
That's what I was
4's done,
thinking.
yep.
So what were they doing down there on that hill climb?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Steve
impressive.
Wallrack.
Oh, like
Uh-huh.
on his nose?
But then he won the whole thing anyway.
Oh,
And
he's-
he won the 4400 race today.
Nice.
Yeah,
He's going to be the
Paul
next
Wolf.
KOH winner, I bet, one of these days.
Oh, he will for sure.
There he's coming through the Inland ITP corner.
He broke
Yeah,
both
Paul
his cars in Broadview.
Both.
His UTV and
Paul Wolf came to Broadview and he broke both his cars, but he did set fastest lap and fastest qualifier too with that fastest lap. So we're coming over the Askin jumps here. See how the Honda did. And they have him down as Ryder driving. If that is Ryder, he's a younger kid. So 3:14. Good job. So off the line here we have Gavin Leach in the 05 RS1 out of Black Eagle, Montana. Dust Pods again are their sponsors. We're going to have to look into this.
We're going to Google this right now because I'm just hearing Dust Pods a lot here. Must be doing some good advertising if we're looking into it already.
This straightaway that they're on, not straightaway, but this section they're on now, they used to only be one car wide. Last year we made it two, so this race will be starting tomorrow, side by side.
So dust pods must be something that goes on industrial equipment for maintaining dust control while doing
Big jobs.
big jobs. Yeah, it looks like behind blades or excavators or whatever might cause dust.
We could probably use some of that out here tomorrow.
We could use it to help for one lap.
We made that too wide through there, so we'll be starting side by side tomorrow.
Oh, we are?
Yes, two at a time. So makes it interesting for the start there.
Especially get about that quarter-mile down there, you get next to that fence line. One of these days, someone's going to go through that fence.
We'll see. It's whoever holds it the longest before they back out for
Right.
that corner.
If you got two equal rigs, it's a game of chicken.
Last year with that Ultra 4 and that trophy truck, that was a heck of a start.
Yeah.
Just enough rain to where that Ultra 4 car, that 4400 car, pulled him with the four-wheel drive, made the difference.
It's amazing out here on that soft, twisty stuff. You know, when I've driven my old rock crawler out here, four-wheel drive is like driving on rails.
Got Gavin's coming into the Jim and Tracy corners now. Those RS1s are very agile. They're a hard machine to beat.
So is there any class restrictions, being they're only a single seat?
Yes, so they got to be in their RS1 class. We got an RS1,
okay.
or they can bump up into unlimited if they want, because that unlimited is unlimited.
Run what you brung?
Run what you brung, so they can jump up into either one. But other than that, all our two-seat cars, we do require a passenger with those. And we've seen huge time in the side-by-sides. We've seen, he's coming through that ITP corner now. Should be heading for the Askin jumps and the finish.
You know, that corner, I think every year gets a little wider on that where they exit that corner. And they used to be the old runaway for the drag strip when they used to sand drag out here back in the 80s.
He's coming over the Askin jumps now. Can't him start finish.
319.
Ran a 3:19. Is he stock or comp, Aaron?
Comp mod. Right.
Yep, Daniel Wright in the comp mod. Comp mod with Randy Wright. It's a 98 Jeep TJ with King shots, Dana 44, 513 gears, built by father and son team, and they have no sponsors. They're out of Colorado.
I think Daniel might be driving, but I probably put it wrong on the paper. Does it say Danny or?
Daniel's driver and Randy
Okay.
is co-driver. They've been racing with us for quite a while now. This Jeep's been fun. They've had some rough luck. He raced Broadview, and he prefers this track over Broadview, which is, he doesn't like that long distance. That 100 and
No, the passenger doesn't.
108 the passenger. The 180 miles. Oh, sorry, the son likes it, the dad doesn't. That 180 miles gets him.
That's a long time to sit there.
Danny liked it, Randy didn't.
So this is about a 5-mile lap, 4 point something, I
4
think.
point something with the extension we added last year. Was it last year? 2
Yeah,
years ago?
last year.
I got up there and took a look at it last weekend. Looks like it's in good enough shape.
Oh yeah, we did some work on it yesterday, marked it and
Good.
put up flags, and
I made a couple passes with the drag on, try to keep it good and pronounced.
so yeah, it looks good. There's a lot of good stuff in that section over there. We kind of tooled around and did some videos from other areas on top of those hills, and there's some great potential in that section of land over there.
All right, we might have to do another extension.
At least put a corner or two, slow them down a little bit, right?
Right.
They'll be coming into Jim and Tracy corners now. Comp mod, you can run bigger shocks than the stock mod. So our stock mod, like I was saying, you can run reservoir, but you can't run coilovers. This you can run coilovers front or rear, but you can't do it on both. Tire size limit, I think, is 35 if I recall. Like stock is 33. So these guys can go up to a 35.
So we're still doing like a shock maximum bore diameter yet, or is that kind of
Yep.
just?
No, we still have it in the stock, but that's been our conversations lately. Going to a little bit bigger bore and a rebuildable shock
Okay,
for the
like
stock.
Like a 2.5 maybe or something.
Yeah, just rebuildable, because it gets expensive replacing shocks every race, and there's guys that run those stock cars hard enough to where they're replacing shocks every race. So we're looking at next year changing that and going to something that they can rebuild, save
Right.
themselves some money and be able to rebuild the shocks every time.
That'd probably help that and play with the valving a little bit better if they want to
Yeah.
dial it in a little more.
So, and our stock is not a true stock, it's a stock mod, so it's a little bit more. You can run a reservoir shock, but you have to keep pretty much everything in the stock locations.
Okay.
It had to come with that engine in that era.
Okay.
So,
You can do an engine swap as long as it's period correct.
period correct. Comp with these guys can do engine work. He's coming into the Askin jumps now. They can do some engine work and some mods to the engine. Stock Clash can't. It's got to be a stock engine.
336.
He ran a 336. We're back into the side-by-sides now. It's kind of cool. We've got them all mixed up. They're just running whatever. This is Matthew Stenberg in a 21 RZR Pro XP.
So this looks like a 4-seat chassis
is.
rig. Is there a big advantage for that longer wheelbase?
You don't want to go too long, but I think if you get the right wheelbase there, it eats those whoops up a little better.
Right.
Way better than the shorter wheelbase does. So, a lot of them don't go with quite the full 4-seat, and I don't think this one is. I think if you look at it, the frame's been chopped a little bit and put back together, so it's it's like the half a cab pickup, where it's not the full 4 doors. So, it gives them a better wheelbase. So.
Got ya.
But you're also carrying more weight then too.
That is true. More weight and might be a little bit less agile in some of the sharp corners.
In the tight and windies we have, like in Broadview, there's no advantage to having that longer wheelbase at all.
Probably working that steering a lot more. Looks like he's getting a little western there, packing some tire.
He said he's out of Colorado. His sponsors are CXO out of Colorado, Extreme Off-Road, the RV Guy, and Sun Enterprises, and Grace Church.
So here'd be a good trivia question. Which one of these racers racing today and this weekend have been racing with this series the longest?
Vehicle the longest, I can tell you what that is.
Red and white Bronco?
Red and white Bronco.
He's been racing probably at this track before Y.O.R.R was even a thing.
It was. He was one of the original racers back in the 80s.
Been racing for a while.
Charlie's been racing for a long time.
I would say side by side wise, maybe Cody.
Side by side, you might be right on Cody. But there's a lot of ties there. But a vehicle-wise, longest on this track vehicle is definitely be the Bronco. You guys seen? It's been passed down from Dawn and Brent to the girls now. So you got Shelby and the daughters in it. So, and it's the same vehicle. So.
Yeah, it was kind of fun here last week. We're digging up old pictures from racing out here. I'll have to find some more.
He's coming into the Askin jumps now. Got a different drone footage. I'm going to stay on that all the way through the start finish. Went through the Can-Am start finish there
251.
with a 251. Where does that put him in his class, Aaron?
Puts him in 5th.
5th spot. Nice run.
That was some
Next up is Greg Williams, if I believe right, of the 99 car. Yeah, it is. It's Greg Williams out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Sponsors Icon Builders. He's running a X3. So, great guy. Ran with us for a while. He's had some bad luck on finishing. So,
you got to think, though, if you've had some bad luck, odds are you're going to get better.
it's hard to finish these races. You got to know how hard to push, yet how hard that the car can handle.
Right.
So.
Is old Marty still racing? Marty?
No, Marty's not.
That was one of those old timer racers from back in the day. That probably one of the slowest guys out here, but he podiumed probably a lot more than anybody. Just that slow and steady.
That's just how sometimes you got to do it. Just finish.
Right. To finish first, you must first finish.
That's exactly it. They're redoing the drone. They're trying to get it back up in the air, so we got a little pause here. Looks like the drone's back up, so we should be resuming racing in just a second. Here we go. Even this has come from a long ways. I mean, now we got live footage, live air. Greg Williams.
When we first started getting racing going back out here back in the about 2000 era, it was a 1 hour race. Whoever had the most laps, there was no timing, just...
It was a stopwatch, and whoever did the most laps, and guys counting Cali marks, everybody with the clipboard out there as they went by.
Yep, making marks, and everybody threw a few bucks in the hat, and the winner took the hat home.
God, when we started back in the Columbus days with Y.O.R.R and stuff, it was a poker run also. There was 5 checkpoints you had to do, and you got to get a card at every checkpoint.
Right.
And you might not have won the race, but if you got the best hand and you get all 5 laps, you won the pot that everybody threw in for the poker hand. So that was always fun.
Right. I remember that first Columbus race where they had the gate to open, and
you had to take 5 gallons. You had to take a mandatory pit stop. So you had to take a tire. So you had to drop a tire, put it back on. Your pit guys did. You had to take 5 gallons of fuel. I know. I was in the pits on that first one for Scott. And then you had to open a gate. We put a gate in there, and you had to open the gate and close the gate out of the pit area.
Yeah.
So an old tight stretched fence.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to hop back in, get your belts on. Well, about year 2 of that, when you look out across to passengers halfway diving in a car, no belt on and it taken off, we decided, okay, enough of that.
Right.
We can't be doing that.
Right. You got to kind of let up the fun versus the safety there.
So, but it was interesting having to take that. You had to plan very, very well on, okay, I'm going to start 5 gallons short.
Yeah.
And take it on the first lap and do my pit, and then hope I don't have to pit and I make it through the rest of the race. Or I could be leading, but I haven't taken my pit yet, and you're going to have to stop to take a pit. Right. So.
Oh, look at him! We got some carnage going on. Got a tie rod broke here.
Oh, it looks like we broke a tie rod in the corners.
Looks like he's still moving, so maybe at least
still moving.
But he's going to try to finish, or is he just going to call it and? Head back to the
Should
pit.
pull off, yeah. Looks like he broke his steering, so he's off. He's,
Tomorrow.
yep.
Set it on the thing.
Yep, he's pulling off, which is a good move. No use messing it right now. At this point, he could fix it and just start in the back.
As long as you'd be going there, you'd be starting in the back anyway, so might as well not tear up anything else.
That's the way to do it.
You see it, can
Yep.
you? Just part not your car.
Not again this year.
Yeah, we will.
It's a great shot here, overlooking camp and all the
Pit area and everything else.
right. Every year,
They're picking up. He lost his spare tire, so Josh is grabbing it. So
Okay.
we have a minute between the next person.
We got a minute between the next person. We're gonna let some people through, and we're gonna get the tire off the track. He lost his spare tire.
Stuff.
Next up, we have another 1600, and these guys, like I was saying earlier, Matt, these guys take a beating.
oh, they don't have
Guys
what?
and gals, because there's 2 girls in this class.
And what, those cars probably don't have 6 inches of travel or maybe a foot at best?
At best. This 1616 car of Matt Rowe
He won the race in Rocky.
out of Valley City, North Dakota. He won the Broadview race last month. So just to get a perspective, that means he ran 80 miles, because it was 82 to be exact, because it was 41 miles a lap, and it is a rough 41 miles, and he did 2 laps. So
So those are limited to a 1600cc
1600 cc engine stock. You can put different carbs on it to get a little power, get the extra to make it a full 40 horse.
Right.
You know,
Getting the
60
horsepower get
maybe.
away from you there.
And then has to run the chassis. Used to have to run the stock tie rods in the front and the rear. The suspension has to be the stock
Okay,
setup.
that's that swing arm style.
Swing arm
Volkswagen
star
suspension.
front. We run our rails, which is what he's in right there, and our bugs together, so they don't have to be a full class 11. What you see most other places run is a class 11 car, and those are restricted to what transmissions you can run, and they check all that. The exact carbs you can run, all that stuff is restricted on those cars. Ours, it's a little more open. We want to get the class growing and bigger, so you can run the rails against the bugs. We've been talking, if you're running a full body bug versus rail, maybe letting you do a little bit more engine work, go to like a 1700 or 17 like that. We haven't made that change yet. I just think it could be a little equalize it a little, give that full body, who actually does weigh quite a bit more.
Yeah.
But we go and say that, and next thing you know is Janae does a podium finish at the Broadview race in 3rd place in her first race ever. So they still hold up.
Still a driver at the end of the day.
These are the original Baja cars.
Right. I've been listening to some podcasts lately. They were talking about some of these original racing out in the middle of the Mexican Peninsula and old Volkswagens.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at that car, how bad it's beating you around and bouncing. I mean,
those tires
this
are
is
off
not
the
for
ground
the
when
weak.
they're on.
Yeah, you'll see Sheridan, she's coming up. She's in a single seat, and it's light enough where I think her front end's off the ground more than it is on the ground. So he
those
just
run
made it through the Jim and Tracy corners. We'll be heading to the inland truck parts horseshoe, and then heading over the jumps. So we'll see what kind of time he pulls. I bet he does pretty decent on qualifying. He'll be one of the top 1600 qualifiers here, I would imagine.
That'll be good to watch tomorrow then.
These guys starting side by side is always fun with these cars too.
Right.
Because they don't like to back off either. So
they got to keep that momentum all the time.
Yeah.
So
he took the longer outside route around the mud puddle, which was a good move. They kind of made like a little bit longer around the brush there.
Right.
I was waiting for that to happen. So during pre-run, I saw that gain, and that's fine. It keeps him out of that mud hole, which probably needs to dry anyway. He's coming over the Askin jumps now. For the Can-Am start finish.
3:30.
Ran a 3:30. Does that put him in first, Aaron, in the 1600s? Yep, it does.
And 3:30, that's pretty respectable from some of the times I've heard today compared to some of the faster, what you would think would be a faster car. In his slower car, or less power.
He was faster than a couple comp trucks.
Yeah.
Last year, yep. In the stock here we have, should be Nathan Jones 716 and Nathan Jones. Did he mess up your timing?
No, it's fine.
Got Nathan Jones. He's in the 716 car. It's a 96 Ford Ranger two-wheel drive out of Boones Ferry, Idaho. And his sponsor is Northwoods Performance.
Here's another good trivia question. Who's traveled the farthest to be here today?
Definitely the guy from Huntington Beach, California.
Huntington Beach, California. That's got to be what, about a 20-hour drive?
Probably, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, his buddy is from Tennessee,
Oh, yeah?
but he has a place here, so he's
Okay. So got a little in here.
So he cheated.
Right.
They spend their summers in
Bighorn?
Bighorn.
Okay.
So
They're trophy truck guys, but
they're-
they're not side by side.
they're out of-
That's for fun.
who is it? Chattanooga
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
And the Team Real Racing.
and Team Real Racing. So,
Okay.
so they decided to come up. But yeah, Huntington Beach, California, I would say would be the farthest guy we have up here today.
It's
So-
kind of interesting knowledge.
And he picked his buddy up out of Salt Lake on his way through that's never rode and
yeah.
he's never drove. So they've pre-ran a bunch and they do desert racing. They race Score and the best in the desert down there. So they're just racing with us. They want to stay fresh and keep going, and they liked our series and watched it, so they were
No good.
trying to do something and just keep racing for the year.
That's good to see. They say every year there's more and more.
There is more and more. I have probably 5 or 6 new drivers this year that
Really?
yeah,
That's
it's cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Better than the original racing where we had about 6 trucks and we were happy.
Yeah.
10 trucks were good.
Oh yeah, we thought
We're like, what are we going to do if we get 20 trucks?
right.
Then last weekend we have 180
180 last month in Broadview.
last month in Broadview and 56 here. So it's come a long ways from this live footage brought to you by Montana Drone Company. They've brought this a long way with us and help us really get our name out there.
Oh, I've been sharing their videos from last year, trying to, promote some stuff. Like, here, this is legit racing. Come check it out. And it's excellent coverage from Montana Drone.
This, again, is a stock truck, so very limited on what they can do. And you can see that by the bouncing around. So after their 10 laps tomorrow, I'm pretty sure they're going to be sore as can be.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be in that.
I'd go find a chiropractic sponsor if I was one of these guys.
Yeah.
There's one guy that races as a chiropractor that's here today.
Man, I'd be setting up shop tomorrow afternoon. And
Yeah, making some money.
I've always thought like these little Ford Rangers though for a stock class. They're small, they're light.
Agile.
Yeah, they got that twin traction beam type front end. I think is probably decent.
They're like a little bit low to the ground, so they're not so tippy like Jeeps. and
Right,
stuff.
yeah,
So
lower
I think
center
it
of
is-
gravity and-
Oh yeah.
No, some
He's-
will come with like a 3-liter V6.
Yeah.
That'd be a
He's coming into the Askin jumps now.
So Nathan took second in Broadview actually.
And this guy took second in Broadview last month.
322.
With a 322 on that qualifying lap.
It puts him in first place for the stock class.
He's sitting in first place for the stock class. Next up is 734 car of Jeremy Rathjen is up next.
see a lot of stickers on that car. Who's he sponsored by?
Stretch Well Service, Hills Trucking.
Van
in
Busler.
Burlesque Farms, AA Motorsports, PJ Machine and Repair, Double E Racing Shocks.
Did we lose power?
Lost something.
Lost the external monitor.
Switched it back to the other screen. It looks like we lost our connection with our drone. So, Double E Shocks, S3 Power Sports, Jade, Fashing, Tara Olmstead and family, Dalton, Caitlin, Mom, Dad, and the entire family.
Well, that sounds like a good down-home racing team. Got some farm action and the family going. And
They're from South Dakota.
And they're from South Dakota. They're great people. Jeremy races with one arm, so he doesn't have use of the other arm. So he'll race this whole thing steering with one hand. And I can
right.
I can testify to that. That is a long race.
I bet. So they modify the car a little bit, the steering wheel knob or anything, or you
Nope, he just holds
does
on.
it.
Just hold on and you do it. The steering wheel knobs do not work. They work about as well as not like a farm tractor. You're going too
Right.
fast and you can't control it. So when I raced with hand controls. So my brake and gas were on my left arm. My right hand, I use that to steer. So he does the same thing. As he just steers with his left hand. But he's able to use the feet and the thing.
So do they maybe add a steering wheel quickener or something, or steering, to make a
That's
little...
the way. I think the best thing to do would be. It's back up. It just came on. We got our drone back. We lost it for a minute. He had to do a battery change. So he's trying to find the driver now. A lot of the guys run hydraulic steering, almost like your
like a
your
rock
buggy,
crawler.
rock crawler and stuff. That's a good way to go. The problem is the minute you do that, and a lot of the series, that bumps you to the next class.
Oh, okay.
So with that being, you got to go up to the next class and race the mod class.
Okay.
So, but the hydraulic steering would be way easier than fighting those steering boxes, in that way. So he doesn't. He's just got a normal X3 setup here.
So those still electric power steering in those?
Yes, they are. You want to cost Cran-Am start finish there
257.
with a 257.
Puts him in second place.
Puts him in second place. He's fast.
He is fast.
This Nate Thompson is up next in the 930 car. You can see him pulling up there. He's in a 2022 RZR Turbo R. He had a misfire, something happened. He's off going now though. He's at Harrisburg, South Dakota. Dakota alignment and frame and method race wheels and Tensor tires. Once again, big thank you to all our sponsors from Inland Truck Parts, DRW, Performance Racing, Tractor and Equipment for all the live footage, Roller Construction for sponsoring this race, Elevated Power Sports for sponsoring the whole series. You know, we couldn't do it without all these sponsors. Jim and Tracy's Alignment, J&M Tire, Metalworks, they build all our trophies. Like, we couldn't do that. I mean, that's a huge cost savings to us, and they do an awesome, phenomenal job on the trophies.
Those trophies are cool too. They're better than just the old plastic ones they used to do, 20 years ago.
Yeah, they're all etched aluminum and stuff, so really nice setup.
Yeah. Okay, they got the tire, so I'll have them look for the jack. Yep, I'll text you her number though. Okay, I'll text you her number. Okay, bye.
Montana Drone Company, copyright. They do all our printing, all our sign making, all our labels, all our arrows, so we can arrow the tracks.
That's a lot. That's one of those little things too you don't think about, but those logistics, there's a lot that goes into putting on a race, advertising, setup. So those kind of sponsors, they're kind of those unsung people that there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, so support those who support us. That's the best way to look at it. Another sponsor we brought off, contingency sponsor we brought on this year, Awesome John by ZRP, Zollinger Racing Products, and they do contingency for the UTV classes. So
Okay, so if
so
you're
you
running some of
podium
their,
top 3, you get your podium cash. It's in their store credits. So, and a lot of these racers, ZRP is one of the best products out there. So
I've heard that name. You know, I'm not much in the side-by-side world, but that's a name I have heard of. So that's cool hearing they're supporting these races.
So they're down racing right now in Oklahoma, so they did. So they weren't able to make this race, but they do race with us too. So it's a great deal. He's coming over the jumps now. The elevated power sports start finish.
247.
247 with a bad start on that one, so that's not bad. I cannot read this number.
What's the info?
Aaron, what number is up next?
It's a good question.
I have to find out. I can't quite see.
Is that Cody's car?
Could not see the number on that one. So
Might be Cody's. I don't know. People keep changing their wraps and changing their car, like
car colors and stuff.
well,
It's hard to
they change
remember.
Their wrap, or they changed, like Cody got a different car. So then I'm like, I don't know which one it is. And I have 4 or 5 new racers, so I actually don't know.
Seemed like back in the day we used to require like a number fin or something. Is that still a requirement?
Yeah, they do. I usually catch it as they come up, but now he's sitting right in front of us where it's at a bad angle the way we're sitting. So
Yeah, I can't see nothing from my angle. We'll see him here in a second. One of these.
looks like our drone's going back up. This wind has been killing our drone battery.
I bet that's a lot of work to keep that keep that drone.
Tyler Nelson.
That is the car, Tyler Nelson.
486.
Now I just got to find him on my list. 486, Tyler Nelson. He's in 20X3 Can-Am out of Evansville, Wyoming. Dakota Alignment and Frame is his sponsor. So that's the one thing about our race series. A lot of these don't have those big name sponsors. Not like you've seen last month on some of the racers that were there. They don't have the Monster Energy. They don't have all that. They're getting sponsored by their local friends and their local stores shops that they use to help them fix stuff and buy parts from. So it is down home roots racing.
Well, I'll tell you, Brian Grody sponsors 3 or 4 of these drivers, and he pays a couple people to do these.
Who's
You know
that?
Brian from South Dakota.
Oh, yep.
That's Dakota Alignment and Frame is Brian's business, so he sponsored.
He
3 or 4
sponsors
of these
quite a
drivers.
these racers. So
Yeah. And
it's nice
he's
because
co-drove, he's raced with us before, so it's cool.
it's
he's
cool
doing a good
because
job for his buddies, right?
sponsoring all your buddies. I mean, Jim and Tracy's, they have 2 cars out here. They not only sponsor our series, but they have cars. So
Right, they've been coming here for a long time. too.
long time.
Yeah, remember the truck with the Napa hat on it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, remember that? That was
2013 or
way back. That was old
2013.
old Chevy pickup with
Yeah,
a
an
Napa
old
hat on the
OBS
back.
Chevy and
Yeah.
yeah.
We lost drone coverage again. Sorry about that, everybody. So we'll stick with this. This wind is getting unreal. No drone. You can see that wind just whipping these flags. So
Yeah, the forecast called for some wind this afternoon, which I first thought might be good to dry out the track, but that's not an issue at this point. It's dry. get in here. I'll let you get closer.
We came across the Can-Am start finish. Sorry about that not being live, everybody. What was his time, Aaron?
2:45 puts him in 4th place right now.
He's at a 2:45 that puts him in 4th place. We're on to another 1600 here. Mark King. He's in a Baja Bug. He's out of Colbert, Washington. Hooks air-cooled Volkswagen out of Spokane.
Washington, that's a pretty good jump too.
Yeah, he's been racing with us for a while.
That
Great guy.
familiar. Yeah.
He's done a bunch of work to that, and just he's had a couple podium. Lost a clutch in Broadview. He's broke a spindle. Just had a lot of bad luck. There, we're back live in the air. You see him coming around the corner there. This wind is getting bad, like we said. So he's got this vehicle set up really nice. So I'm hoping he does a good finish this race and goes for it. I mean, he helps these young girls like Sheridan and Annalise and cheers them on the whole time.
Oh,
so it's great teamwork with the racers there in that class.
Right,
So,
it's great when your competitions, you also your camaraderie with all of them to keep everybody racing.
Oh, they'll hand parts between each other just to keep them out there racing. It's
Right.
not much of a race if it's just you out there.
Right. You don't want to win in the pits. You want to win on the track.
So it's kind of fun to have everybody out there together.
Seems like that's kind of how it is with all the Y.O.R.R racing from what I've been around. And everybody's here to help each other. I know I've donated parts off my rock crawler in past years just to keep people racing.
Last year, our Can-Am was on jack stands on 3 corners.
Right.
Yeah,
Stealing
last year there was a great shot of our recovery machine on jack stands, and there wasn't a wheel left on it or parts left on it. We had to put some spare parts on it just to get it in the trailer to get it home and then put it together down the road.
Right.
So
I think it was last year I donated a steering pump to a guy. He gave it back, got me a replacement, but I had to spare my trailer for the crawler, so want to keep everybody racing. They travel this far and go that long to get here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
well, I guarantee they're in the pits right now on Zach's car looking to see if they can weld that axle or get it all straightened out.
Yeah.
And Jim and Tracy's has a full-fledged welder set up and everything on their semi, so it's kind of nice. It helps some people out.
Yeah, it's good to have. In years past, I had a pretty good relation with one of the parts store owners here in Powell. We'd call him on a Saturday night. He'd run down and open up a store, and we'd get some parts. He's since sold the store, so I don't have that contact anymore. But
yeah, back in the day, the Polaris dealer down here did some stuff with us and sponsored us, and they would come out at all hours of the night and have parts, and it was pretty much they'd meet us so we could go pick up stuff, and it was kind of nice. He's coming through the Inland Truck Parts horseshoe there. We'll be heading for the Askin tabletops. He's actually moving. That thing, it feels like he's doing good right now from where we're sitting.
yeah.
It probably feels rough where he's sitting.
Yeah. Where he's sitting, it's not smooth. We can guarantee that. Came through the elevated powers for start finish.
350.
With a 350, that's a good solid time.
Puts him in 2nd place right now. And I think there's
This
2 or
is
3
number
more.
32.
32 is
Zach. It's the number 32 car of Zach Lampmere
I don't know how to say it.
out of Belgrade, Montana. He's an X3 Max. This is his first time racing. Clean Bozeman Inc. Whoever changed the speed limit to 80 on the interstate is one of his sponsors, Montana Highway Patrol.
I have a hunch might be the other way around. He might be sponsoring Montana Highway Patrol.
Yeah. So, great guys. They didn't come with everything they needed. We're short some stuff, but we were able to gather everything together for them. I think they're running my helmet and a neck because they needed a neck restraint, so they borrowed that from some of us.
Well, and then they have a helmet from Dad, but I took my clips off my helmet because my head's smaller than his helmet.
So we did some switching around just so they could race. So
that's excellent.
That's the best part about this group is we're going to make sure you get to race, because once you've done it once, you're hooked. So we might as well help feed the fuel here and make sure you get out there. We're not going to turn you around. We're going to make sure we can get you racing and get you what you need.
That's great. And let's talk about that. What are some of the safety requirements you need to race? So fire suit, gloves, neck restraint, a Hans device of some sort, so Next Gen or one of the other brands. Okay, so the old school foam collars, kind of outdated. Old technology.
Old technology. These ones clip to your helmet, and I raced with one for the first time on this last race, and it really does help from your neck hurting at the end of a race.
Not only is it a safety thing, but definitely helps just your posture and.
Yep.
Well, if you're in a car for 10 hours, like you don't realize how much it strains your neck muscles. Just
You don't fight the bumps.
It's just, I never had race with one until I raced at Hammers, and I was like, then I came back, and I don't race here, obviously, but I made my daughter wear mine. So so much better.
That's excellent.
On these side-by-sides, no factory roll cages. They are not built well enough for the speeds that these guys hit or the rollovers. So you got to do an aftermarket cage, window nets.
Okay.
Fire extinguishers, and we do that just to
5-point harnesses.
5-point harnesses. Fire extinguishers are an important one because we want to make sure you can put a fire out on some of the ranches. Here, you can put a fire out or get your car out of fire. So that's important to us. Dust lights in the rear. That's so people in front of you or behind you can see you catching them. That is the main safety rules. Doors, and they got to be locking doors so that they can't come open. That's it. So those are the main important ones that they come. Here he's coming over the Askin jumps. And for the Can-Am start finish.
I hear some tunes there too. They must be having a good time out there.
They do have a stereo system in their car, yes.
What was his time?
3:09.
3:09. So this should be Mr. Torney.
It is Greg. It's Benjamin's car. Greg and his sister.
Benjamin is it's Benjamin's car. Greg is driving it. And he's got his sister in the car with him. The Project Clown Baby is what they call this car. They're out of Colorado. American Express, Visa, Discover, Harbor Freight, and Grandma are the sponsors on this one.
Sound like the top sponsors to have right there.
Yeah. He normally,
Here's the vehicle info. I'm going to let Matt read what he wrote there.
Oh, he's got a story on this guy. So, the Torney Race Concepts VW Beetle, commonly dubbed Project Clown Baby, is the nastiest Spec Class 11 on the west side of the Mississippi. Even though the engine fluctuates between 40 and 80 horsepower at any given point in a race, this bug simply can't be put down. Legend has it that the old 1124 TRC bug completed the final 7 laps of a race with no rear shocks after fully ejecting both upper mounts and freed itself from the burial ground sand dune of King of the Hammers 2023 with merely a single quart of oil in the engine. If you race 1600 and don't yet fear Clown Baby, keep checking that rear view mirror and buckle up.
He sent us a video of him writing that, saying, I love filling out your info. So I had to make sure we read it. So this is the first time driving it. Like he had loading it in the trailer on it and learning to drive a clutch. So he's doing it. It's his brother's car. So last year at Columbus, I seen him out of the car running beside it because his weight made the difference of them making the one hill or not. So he would hop out,
So Greg
run the hill,
run up the hill, get back in.
and then go.
Wow.
That had lost that much horsepower, but they weren't quitting.
Hey, that's
So-
resilience there. Never give up.
So now he says he's only going to drive because then he doesn't have to get out and run.
There you go.
So
I imagine.
He actually is. He normally races a Can-Am.
Oh.
He's building a custom chassis car right now, so he doesn't have a race car to race right now. But
So got to keep racing. So
last year at this track, as a matter of fact, he's that orange and red. You probably saw it got drug in. He broke the back half of the frame off of it. Had to use his winch to pull it up and hold it in place to drive it to get it back in.
wow.
So
He's
So
not going to
he's
give up
building a
till it's
custom
broken
frame.
half.
yeah, he didn't let off. We'll see his dad qualifying later today.
and he's co-driving with his dad later.
So what kind of seats do these guys run? Is it like a suspension or a full?
Most of them run a suspension. Sheridan runs a PRP suspension seat.
Okay.
I think Greg pulled the seats out of his Can-Am to put in the bug. 'cause
So
he was
these
like,
ones,
I said you probably want to switch your seats out. Okay.
and
I
then
imagine adding 2
Janae
inches
has
of,
an old set of, I think they're Crow seats in that car. That car's been around for years and years.
Yeah.
So it's an old set of race seats in that car. So
I imagine adding 2 inches of seat cushion and almost half again your suspension travel.
So he's coming through the Inland Truck Parts corner there, coming down the straightaway. He'll be heading into the Askin tabletops. I personally love these guys and watching them race because this is where racing starts. You know, this is where a lot of our people come in, and then our youth racers. Their youth racers are our future of racing. So
Right.
it's nothing like seeing them. They won't qualify, but they will be racing tomorrow.
Nice. There you go.
Looks like he's got traction boards. He's ready for anything.
353.
Ran a 353.
Well, it looks like he kind of learned how to drive a clutch.
Yeah. Coming up next is Sheridan Adams. She's in a single seat, so she has no passenger. 1600 class or single seat rail. You'll see her bouncing all over the place, but her sponsors are PRP Seats, Grandpa Dean, Grizz, and Rugged Radios.
So are many of these people running comms to like their like a crew chief or their pit to keep
Their pits, Sheridan has a comm in them. It's most of the people, or at least a lot of them, are running Rugged, which is one of our sponsors too on
Right.
this series. So a lot of them run Rugged, and it's just so they can get comms back to the pits when they need something, and let them know that they're coming in for pits.
Especially
So-
someone in a single seat, you might get bored out there. You might just need a chit chat.
Chat. Well, Sheridan's been racing for probably 4 or 5 years now in that. She's won the championship 2 years in a row now. But she just turns her music up in her headset and
Yeah.
just jams out, and then when she needs something, she radios in. I don't know if she know what it's like to ride with somebody and have somebody to talk to, but we got this rail and the bug that you saw earlier. We picked them up in a package deal with 3 vehicles. As long as they stayed in Annalise's old car, as long as they stayed in the race series, the guy'd sell them to us. So
Hey.
Lyle, he's out here racing, so he sold it, and we put him in and showed Sheridan how to drive a clutch in my Jeep. We just put it in low range.
Yeah.
And let her practice the pushing in and out and the brakes, starting and stopping, and then moved her to the bug. Annalise.
was 12, and you were in chest gear, and I made you ride with her in the camouflage bug to learn how to drive.
Yeah,
the clutch.
she was
Oh, yeah.
12 when she
'Cause I thought
started.
she didn't want to, if I was telling her what to do, she wouldn't want to do it. So
Right.
I made him get out of his wheelchair, get in the camouflage bug, and he rode with her for 4 miles, and he's like, I have to get out.
Right.
He's still in chest gear after
Right.
his back.
Not ready for that yet.
No. But that's what's nice to see is these kids. I mean, how many young 17, 12, and 15-year-old girls, when they started racing, could drive a clutch?
Right.
Or
How
manual.
many early teen kids in general know how to drive
Their
a clutch?
clutch, right?
From the Nacho race team.
And she worked on this whole thing. So in Broadview, she lost steering.
Okay.
And her rack would only turn left, and she could turn a little bit to the right. So we looked at it and told her, well, here's your choices. Best choice would be when you come to right-hand corner, push in on the clutch and dump it, and
Right.
hope you can spin it around. If not, back up and make it a 30-point turn. So she did, and that got her last lap and a second place finish.
Hey, that's
so
never say
that's
die.
never quitting right there.
Sounds like she's getting practiced up for some NASCAR too then.
Yeah.
This is
So
some
we
great
ripped
footage here too with that drone chasing.
Drone chasing her is awesome. It just shows you how rough that really is.
Got to give it to these drone operators. They can keep it right there, don't crash, get us some excellent footage.
He's chased her. So she pulled the rack apart, and best we can figure out is that she got a rock stuck in it.
Okay.
And so we got it done. The rack looked good. She cleaned it all up. She greased it. She put it back together herself, put the
Yeah.
car back together, and we discovered she had a broken boot. And so we went ahead and we had another axle there, so she learned how to change an axle. Taught her how to do that. So we'll go over the car tonight now that she's actually put some miles on it. Double check everything we did. She must be running good because she's moving there.
Yeah, it looks like she's got some speed coming into these jumps.
Here she comes for the Can-Am start finish. See what kind of time she got.
3:59.
A 3:59. What? Puts her in fourth, so second row right now. Got Annalise Zindler up next. The drone is down. Annalise Zindler coming off the line there. She's in a 4800 car, but she'll be racing in the Pro Unlimited. Or Pro, sorry.
Pro, yeah.
Annalise Zindler. It's Jim and her sponsors are Jim and Tracy's Alignment, Dirty Diesel, Gary Roth, Octane Addiction, PRP, Rugged Radios, Grandpa, Inland Truck Parts, DRW Performance, and SCS Wraps. Sorry we don't have the live footage on her. The drone's going back up. As soon as I get connected again, we will see her racing through. So Annalise is Aaron's daughter. Aaron runs all our timing. That's the voice you've been hearing in the background here. She does all our timing and pretty much everything else.
All the administrative stuff, and that's a lot of work to keep track of.
Tell them I don't have you. Just waiting for the drone footage to come back up. Yep, got it now. We got Annalise on screen right there. She's coming into the Jim and Tracy's corners. This is one of Jim and Tracy's cars too. So she's coming into their corners right now. She is 17, Aaron? She just turned 18. It was only a year off. But not too bad for an 18-year-old girl driving that.
No, now driving all the boys out here, it looks like. Doing it in a rock crawler. So what do we got class? Are these 4400 style cars all racing in Pro?
Yes, so this is actually a 48. So
Okay.
4800 is straight axle, smaller tires than the 44s.
They're only limited to what, one shock per corner?
One shock per corner. So with her, she is in the Pro.
Okay.
So she'll still run her points in 48, but she's running with the pros. It makes the pot a little bigger for him. So she'll run with the rest of the pros. So you'll have a couple 4400 cars, her in the 48, all in that Pro.
Okay.
The Toyota, that single seat that,
And then Brady's coming with the pre-runner.
and a pre-runner.
He's not here yet.
So he won't qualify. He'll do a back start.
I think he's bringing the yellow car.
Is that the 3-seat?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a fun one to watch.
He's gonna come down tomorrow. So,
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, I won't be there in time to qualify. I'll just take a rear start. I'm like,
Here's-
that's fine. You're faster.
Yeah,
than
you
all
won't.
of
It won't
them."
matter for you anyway.
Annalise coming over the. She's coming in hot on that Can-Am start finish.
317.
She ran a 317.
Like 0.33 behind the Toyota.
0.33 behind the Toyota. So
That's tight competition when you're under a second on a. What's this qualifying? Probably a mile and a half, mile and a quarter lap.
Could be. Very
this is Barry Schaefer out of White Ridge, Colorado. Sponsors are Baja Design, KWI Clutching, Rev Design, ZRP, KMC Wheels, EFX Tires, CBR, S3 Power Sports, Motorsports.com, ProTech, Alpine Start, MotorTech USA, Brakes USA, Rugged Radios, IMS, Intense Cycles.
So that's the car that Lori was supposed to race, but he broke his car, and so now he's racing Cody's car because Lori was supposed to race it, but Barry broke stuff, and now Lori doesn't get to race because now he's
So
racing the car
it's
he was
usually,
supposed to race.
it's a family. It's Lori,
Barry,
Barry,
Lori.
and Cody. And Cody couldn't make it, so then they had the two cars here. Well, he broke, so Barry kicked Lori out of her ride, and he's racing instead. So, it'll be interesting. And this is not his car, so this is actually their son's car.
Nothing
So
like taking the rental racing.
there's
Borrow it.
nothing better than racing a rental car.
Yep.
So the car numbers are wrong. You want to write that down.
What car is that?
So I think that's 824, T824 instead of 842. And then Lori probably can't race because
Okay.
she took her car.
He's coming through the Jim and Tracy's corners right now. Making decent time.
Where's the drone at?
Drone is right above us.
Heck, it's so loud.
Go next to his car, you'll be okay.
I will. I gotta wait till
He's coming into the Inland Truck Parts corner here. The one thing Erin is doing this race is we're trying another timing system, so she's running dual timing, so she's been pretty darn busy. We got 2 screens. We're trying the new live time, so hopefully we'll be able to post it tomorrow live. She's testing it, but we're not sure. She's still learning it, so.
Yeah, I'm teaching myself.
Here's Barry coming across the elevated power sports start finish
258.
with a 258.
Right now he's in 8.
That's an 8th place. Which one's this car?
That's Team Hero Racing. Michael's S something. His car number is 3. And
Michael Schafato out of Huntington Beach, California. He's an RZR Turbo RR. It's Team Real Racing, Alpine Stars, BFG, Rugged Radios, Black Flies, Hollywood Park Casino, Method Wheels, Gearhead Coffee, Fistella Trailer, Allen Motorsports, and
Jankovic.
Fuel Company. So these guys are all the way out of Huntington Beach, California. There's another one besides him racing here also. out of Tennessee. They usually race down south in the Baja. This is actually one of their pre-runners. So they run down there. So they were up here. They wanted to try something different. So they're giving her a shot and racing this. So it's fun to see all these new people coming and enjoying our tracks and our
new people, new cars, maybe some different sponsors we get to see.
Well, and I think they race trophy trucks normally.
And they usually do. They do race trophy trucks. It's Chattanooga whiskey.
Well, I know that Robert built that side by side that he's racing here. He built it for Hammers.
And he races. He actually heard from us from Tori Poole. He's got the sister, Tracy Poole. He's got the sister car to Tracy's G6. So he's got the twin sister car to that. That's how he heard about us. And so he said, well, I'm up here. I might as well come race. So, and he'll be up later for qualifying. So.
Do they plan on hitting the rest of the races in the series too? Have you heard?
I'm sure they will, as long as he says this is perfect, because this is kind of their off season. So, can you go tell the two girls to move? He's coming into the Inland Truck Parts horseshoe here coming up. He's making some good time, so this should be interesting. He'll be coming into the Askin jumps here shortly. He's on the Askin tabletops right now. Can-Am start finish right there.
256.
He ran a 256. What does that put him in, Aaron?
7th.
7th place start finish.
I lied. Just joking.
She lied.
8th.
8th. Up next is it's the 4913, the Robert Johnston. Passenger is Cheyenne Adams. He's a 22 RZR Pro R. He's out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. His sponsors are Chattanooga Whiskey, Raceline Wheels, and BFG. I like his first sponsor. I don't know about you, but it sounds pretty good to me.
I'd take any sort of adult beverage sponsor any day of the week.
Yeah. No, maybe not Bud Light, but
right.
But Chattanooga Whiskey, he's the one that races a trophy truck. He runs a G6 trophy truck.
Is that a Geisler chassis or
a Geyser G6 chassis? He raced this in King of the Hammers. He made it through about 30 miles of the desert and blew a fuse for steering.
Oh no.
And when he bought this car built, they put the cover on. I heard the whole story from him. They put it on backwards, so the fuse he kept pulling to check it was good, and he couldn't figure out what it was, so he quit, ripped the cab apart, couldn't figure it out. Panel was on backwards, so if he would have went to the opposite side, he would have got the fuse.
I bet he never makes that mistake again.
No, and he made it a better access. He doesn't have to tear the whole thing apart now. It's under a cover.
Good idea.
And remarked.
Well, that's one thing about these race cars, even like my rock crawler. I tried to build them, so they're easy to service. And when you do all the work, you know how to fix them. That's
the best part. Like when we built that car that we raced in Hammers, it was nice. We built it, we knew it. Like there wasn't anything we didn't know on that car. We had it down to the frame.
Right, you touched every bolt on it.
We could tell you what bolt went where, how long, and what size.
Right. Hey. He's getting it too.
He is flat getting it. He will qualify fairly decent with this, if not be one of the top qualifiers in this.
So one to watch tomorrow for sure.
I think Cheyenne's in for a ride tomorrow.
Right. So might be good education on some.
Well, she told him, she said, you just drive, man, because I'm not scared.
Yeah.
You can't scare me. I ride with CJ.
Right.
So he's coming down the straightaway, coming into the Askin tabletops, and he should be moving pretty good into that. We'll take a different shot when he comes in. I'm sure he's backing off on these because they throw you kind of funky if you're not careful.
Oh, fast lap.
Fast lap, what was it?
228.
Ran a 228 fast lap.
Breaking the 2.5 minute.
That's awesome.
Torney's up next. I had to wait for it. Matt Torney coming off on the 804 out of Elizabeth, Colorado. Sonora Wheels and Tires. Sonota Tires. Warren Winch, PRP Rugged Radio. Sorry about that, guys. So he's glad to be back in. He missed Broadview. They had over 7 inches of rain up in their area, and everybody was flooding, including him. They just couldn't handle it. So
that's bad.
He was ready, loaded, ready to go, and figured he better take care of the flooding instead of leaving his wife to take care of it.
Yeah, you might have caused some problems there.
Yeah.
I know what I'd have done.
I know. Showed her how to use the pump.
Yeah, here's the pump. Here's the hose. I'm going racing. You'll be coming home to a flooded house still.
Yeah.
That's empty.
That's empty. At least everything would have got out of there.
Yeah, I think we did dodge a little bit of a bullet. I saw Casper got quite a bit of rain last night.
They did. I don't know what we ended up getting here, but I woke up all night and I tossed and turned.
Yeah.
After the first time I woke up and heard it raining, I just kind of like couldn't sleep, just thinking, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to get people in here? Because those of us that know this road coming in here used to be way worse. We redid the road last year.
Last year you guys brought that blade in, and that was a muddy mess too that weekend.
But we got it done. So he's coming through the Jim and Tracy corners now.
I've talked to the neighboring farmers here and let them know we're racing this weekend. So if anybody that's racing is listening, just kind of respect that road. If you see farmers out there setting water, give them a little bit of room
and manage the speed coming up and down these roads, guys.
And they don't mind us at all. Let's just be courteous.
I'm sure they were happy when we fixed that road.
Yeah.
Coming in.
It was getting bad.
It was bad. It was so rutted. He's coming into the Inland Truck Parts horseshoe.
It might be a little bit rutted after the semis coming in this morning when it was muddy.
It's not bad. I just came in a little bit ago and it's not bad.
Okay.
The worst spot is right from the gate where there's that puddle.
Right, that puddle.
So he's coming over the Askin tabletops there. Can-Am start finish
253.
with a 2:53. That was a nice time laid down by him. Next up is Brent Burton. He's in a Trent Fab Ellis 447 Turbo 400. King Shots BFG Raceline wheels. He's out of Cold Strip, Montana. Sponsors are CEI Electric, which is also our sponsor for our last race of the season, our championship race in Columbus. Third Pedal Repair and Raceline wheels.
Excellent. I know a little backstory on this car. It was burned down here a few years back, and then Brent bought it as a pile of parts and reassembled it. And this is his second year racing now, or is it his third now?
I think this will be his third year. Yeah. They just widened the car.
Did they?
So it's all front custom front end, and they widened it because it was one of Trent Fab's first cars, so it was a little bit narrower, and it just wasn't stable enough. So they went ahead and widened it up, and made it stable. So, and he had a good race in Broadview, finished it. So And that's a hard race to finish. Like I said, they run 205 miles there.
That's a lot of seat time.
And you can see he's making it. Let's see if he can beat the fast lap here.
There we go.
This is a
four-wheel drive and 40-inch tires. Soaks up some of those bumps a little better.
But also a little not as agile in the corners. So
it takes a lot more horsepower to spin those big tires too.
So let's see if the side-by-side being a little more agile is a little faster in these corners, because that's where you're going to make it up.
Right.
Straightaways, this one's going to walk away from you. So
I have a feeling this car probably is twice as heavy as a side-by-side, or at least a third more.
At least, yeah.
I'd guess he's probably in the 4,000-pound realm.
Yeah.
Sounds good though. It's a good sounding engine in that one. Brent's no stranger to competition. He won four-wheeler top truck challenge back in, must have been about late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. He's been around the four-wheel off-road stuff for years. This is just got into the Ultra 4 stuff and racing. So he's been a great for us, great sponsor, and just an all-around good guy. So here he comes. You can hear him moving coming into the jumps.
Wow.
236.
A 236.
So was he 8 seconds off of the fastest lap?
So 228 and 236. So yeah.
Pretty
Not quite
respectable.
fast lap, but that's still a fast lap.
Not bad for a big rock crawler.
That's exactly it.
Not much rock crawler left on him.
Up now, I don't know who we got yet. Let me. Can't quite see the number, and I didn't catch it earlier. I was too busy tied to the screen of that Brent Burton run.
If you guys would have dried the track out earlier, the cars wouldn't be muddy, and I can see what they say.
I tried getting you to take your hairdryer around and do it, but you didn't want to do it, Aaron.
Can you find me one of these?
Need some of those NASCAR pickups out of those big blowers on them.
Aaron, the girls tried to dry the track out.
I know.
Yeah, our track is a mess.
All right, we got the drone back up, so that means we're going to be going live again here in just a minute. With a side-by-side. We got probably a handful more people qualifying, don't we, Aaron?
Yeah, looks like 3 in line, but I can't tell you the truth. That might be Cody. That might be Cody Williams.
600?
Jacob Shade in an X3 out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. 600 fab and DB brakes.
So is there a lot of brand competition out here? The Polaris guys versus the
Polaris
Honda
has kind of
guys?
moved. There's a handful of Polaris. There's a lot of Can-Am guys. So there's a lot of competition here between Can-Am and Polaris. But Polaris has kind of moved up, and most of these guys have jumped up into the that Pro R. You know, that
Is that like
2.0.
four-cylinder or something?
Yeah, what is it? Is it 2.0 or 1.8 or something? It's a 4-cylinder car engine, more or
Right,
less.
like 200 horsepower or something?
It's 200 from the factory, a little over 200.
That's
That's
that
without
natural?
touching it. Naturally aspirated. 28 inches of travel on the suspension.
That's insane.
Like,
From
it's
the,
insane.
off the showroom floor.
Off the showroom floor. They got to put a roll cage on it to make it legal, because the factory cage isn't quite thick enough. So they got to do that, and you can pretty much race these. And they're talking to Cody Williams, who's raced a Turbo R Razor, years and years of that. He moved into this car, and he says the power never stops.
Oh, really? I'm sure
It just
four-cylinder probably
pulls.
comes on quicker and never lets off. So is Can-Am or anything got anything kind of comparable, or are they still running the 1,000?
They're still running that 3-cylinder turbo, which
Okay.
has been doing them good. They've been podium most races. Top podiums are the Can-Am. So
Do they have a little better suspension maybe, or what's the difference?
I just think it's some of the design and stuff on it, and the design on the suspension. And Polaris kind of went into this market and stepped out of the turbo. They still got their Turbo R, still a great machine.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one podium.
Yeah.
One just ran the fastest. No, that was a Can-Am. Sorry. he did run qualifying in a Can-Am, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if we see one podium. But Can-Am's done a really great job on that machine and done some good stuff. But these 4-cylinder cars, they're not one to mess with. They'd be fun to ride in. So
there he is, come around that U-turn. Looks like that's drying out maybe a little bit down there.
That'd be nice, because
yeah,
get that blown in a little bit, and then still they get it rutted enough to where that's when they start rolling that thing.
Yeah, catch a rut there. And I remember a
he's
race
coming over the tabletops now. Came off a little sideways there.
Here he goes.
245.
He ran a 245.
In 5th.
Puts him in 5th spot in his class. Up next is Casey Welty. He's in a 2022 Pro R, so that's one of those 4-cylinders. You can just hear the difference.
Sounds like more of a European sports car than a side-by-side.
They are. They're a super tall car with that 20 inches of travel. That's just, you got to put that shock somewhere, right?
Right.
And they're still I think they're under 80 inches wide, so you can't.
Right, you can't lay them out too far.
Can't lay them out too far. So, Casey Welty's been racing with us for several years and does a heck of a job. He went from an Arctic Cat to this, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. He did a good job last race.
Was he out of like Sheridan, Wyoming?
Out of Sheridan, and he was walking through the field just picking people off.
Yeah.
Came into a corner, and he said total driver error, made a screw up, rolled it, took him 45 minutes to get back up. So
oh, no.
Lost everything he had. So kind of sucks, but that's racing.
That's, yep.
You know, like you said earlier, to finish first you must finish. So no matter how hard you push it, there's always that chance.
Yeah.
Got to drive in your ability.
And some of these more endurance style races, it's not a sprint. It's
you can't win it in the first lap.
Yep.
Like this one this is still 12 laps I'll have to run on 5 miles. So it's, you know, at about 9 you're tired of it.
Right.
So 10, 11, and 12 just suck.
You know, when I raced it years ago in the old rock crawler, after about 3 laps I was over it.
Yeah.
That buggy was not made for racing, but what the heck, let's
get out and have a good time.
Yeah, someone loaned me, I think Don or someone, or maybe you had a race suit, and we raced, had a good time.
There he's coming through the Jim and Tracy corners. Be heading into that inland truck parts horseshoe and over the Askin tabletops. So
see, these tabletop jumps, that's something we had, what, probably 5-6 years ago, maybe longer ago than that.
It's been a while. We had one of our fellow racers came out and did it all.
Yeah, Cody, is he still racing?
No, he's not racing anymore, but he did come here, put in a bunch of work, laid them all out. So it's kind of nice, something different than just the straightaways.
Right, if you look to the right-hand side there, you can see the old strip where we used to go, and these are just dirt bike jumps, and we kind of rolled them out and make them so we could drive over them with a rig.
239.
Ran a 239. Great job, Casey, there. Oh, his sponsors, I forgot to name them off. My bad. Go Fast and Die, ZRP, Method Race Wheels, Next Gen, Schmitty Racing Suspension, RTR Automotive Studio, Kirby Saloon, Letterbuck Car Wash, Sheridan Liquor, Elite Auto Body, Excalibur Construction. Next up is Cody Williams with George Williams, his dad, as the passenger. They're in a Pro R also. Some of their sponsors, they're out of Gillette, Wyoming, are Peak Power Sports, Octane Garage, SH Fabrication, High Tech Transmission, Bighorn Beverage, DynoJet, Hollywood Speed Shop, Arrowhead Lodge, SF Fabrication, he put that one in there twice, so I had to say it, George's Shop and Bar, DynoJet, and ZRP.
ZRP, I've heard that one say multiple times.
A great sponsor of ours. So Cody's known to not a slouch. He's podiumed several times, and he is super fast.
Seems like I remember years and years ago he showed up with a Polaris that he bought the day before.
He did.
And didn't he podium or win that day?
He won the whole race in a car he had never been in. He loaded in the trailer, came here and raced.
Right, that's pretty impressive there. I remember that.
He's an old dirt bike racer, races enduro, and there's something to be said about people who race dirt bikes. They just know how to pick a good line.
Pick a line, keep that momentum.
His dad, the only car they could get, this was one of the green and red ones, that gaudy green and stuff. So his dad, right out of the gate, changed the color on it, and they went red, white, and blue. His dad was not going to have that ugly green, but it was the only color they could get, and they weren't going to argue with it. So Cody's fast. It'll be interesting to see how he places over Casey.
What are we looking at now? 228, still the fastest lap?
228 is the fastest lap, and the Chattanooga Whiskey Canyon.
So it's-
Canyon?
Yep, that's Can-Am.
228's the time to be.
Can't remember what car he said who owned that car before him, but it was no, the Chattanooga Whiskey car. It was like Godfrey or one of those big racers that races Ultra 4, and that's what he bought it for. So here's Cody coming over the table, asking tabletops now. He ran at 2:39, so still.
So him and Casey. So Casey's 2:39, 396, and Cody's 2:39, 698.
So
That's split
0.3 seconds.
That's
second and
first and second are split by 0.3 of a second. Is that what that is, Aaron?
Yeah. For second and third.
John Owen in the 01 car. It's a 75 F-150 Mad Cow Racing and Performance. Reds Auto and Diesel, Midway Auto and RV, J&M Tire, Stink Blossom, MT Radiator, Montana Radiator, and Interstate Battery. He's out of Billings, Montana. That's a stock truck he's in there.
That's some old iron there. That's how I remember a lot of these racers when we first started racing back at Powell. Trucks like that.
That's the stuff you like to see, because those guys, that's the grassroots of racing right there. You start in a stock, you take what you got, you build it, you push the limits to what you can.
Right, that's what kind of gets you hungry to go up another class and start building something faster.
And this might be it for qualifying after John's done.
So what time are we starting racing tomorrow?
So tomorrow racing starts at, let me go over the schedule, I got it right here, hold on.
See, the weather's looking good tomorrow. It's supposed to be like highs in the 70s, so not too hot, but not too cold. No more rain in the forecast I saw.
So tomorrow events will start with the 1600s at 9:30 tomorrow morning. They'll run 8 laps. After that at 11 a.m., stock and comp will run 10 laps. They'll run together. However they laid out. It could be a stock guy lining up next to a comp guy. It doesn't matter. It's how you qualified.
Might make some guys hungry to race harder.
This guy wants to know if he can fly the truck that just went to find out.
Do what?
This guy wants to know if he can fly the truck that just went to
Fly it?
fly.
11 a.m. to 1 is stock comp. Then at 1 to 1:30 is our youth race, UTV. They'll give us a little break in there. We're going to run them. They're going to run the short qualifying track. So everything you see today, that's what our youth is going to run. So it's a little different. We don't just run them in a circle. They're going to have to make their way through some of these corners
Well, it'll be some good and be a little more passing and a little more action too, instead of getting spread out.
So then at 1:30 to 3 is UTVs. They'll run 12 laps and they'll do 2 races. So that time might change based on that, because we're going to have to run 2 races instead of 1. When I did it, the math, That should be about right from what it was last year when we had to run the 2 races. But like I said, what'll happen, you'll run, if you qualified first, third, fifth, so odd numbers,
Right.
you're going to race first.
Okay.
If you run even numbers, you're going to race second.
Yeah, easy
And
enough.
then Aaron just combines the 2 of them together to make it a single race.
Then everybody gets to race.
Everybody gets to race, and you're not on top of each other. It puts 10 guys in each class, 12. So you're not fighting that crowd. It makes it a better racing for everybody. Then at 3:30, the pros will start. They'll also run 12 laps.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll have awards, hang out, fire pit, same thing as tonight.
Right. We
So
always
it's
have,
a
we
good
got
time.
a pile of bonfire wood out here, so as long as the wind doesn't pick up and cause us a problem.
We should be good.
So then what? After the qualifying, we got drivers meeting after this?
Drivers meeting after this and some food, which is what I
All
need.
right.
Coming over the start finish, you got John Owen right there. Elevated Can-Am start finish.
And the drone.
338.
And I ran a 3:38.
Well, this
So,
is the dust I
that's-
remember from Powell track.
All the dust blowing around and everything.
Everybody
Yep.
in Powell can look and see where the dust is and see what's going on out there.
Under the trailer
So
by the door. And then I think
we'll be cutting here. I'm going to run some commercials.
in the trailer.
You can see the drone just showing you the camping area. You see the pile of pallets there that we're going to burn at some point. The pit area. So
There's Powell in the background. And
Powell
you
in the
see,
background, you see the mountains. What mountains
there.
are those?
So in center screen there's the McCullough Peaks off to the right. You got the Beartooth Mountains on the edge of Yellowstone National Park.
So beautiful area out there. It looks deserty when we're shooting this and running through. This is actually a beautiful green valley. So
Right, it's pretty right now with all the moisture we've had. It's nice and green for once. There's Hart Mountain, kind of the iconic mountain for our area.
once again, a big thank you to our sponsors, Elevated Power Sports, Roller Construction for sponsoring this race, Can-Am. There's Aaron, our drone guy. Aaron, wave at the drone.
Hey!
There's us in the background, me and Matt. So this is kind of our home for the next day. So, but once again, DRW, Jim and Tracy's, J&M Tire, Inland Truck Parts, TDK. God, so many. Copyright, Metalworks, Askin Construction. So huge thank you to all of them. Here's our drone flying by all our flags there. So big thank you, Metalworks, Askin Construction, like I said, TDK, J&M Tire, Jim and Tracy's Alignment, Inland Truck Parts, once again Can-Am and Ryan Roller and Roller Construction.
Right on.
So big thank you to everybody out there. I'm going to end with a couple commercials. If I can figure this out, I can't believe they let me do this sometimes.